But before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about music. What have we been listening to in early 2022, and maybe like some of the best? Because I know you had some music from 2021 that you wanted to talk about. Because obviously, like I did my lists as we talked about earlier in the show. As you guys know, any listeners or audience members of our podcast, you guys know that I came out with my top 21 Massachusetts songs of 2021.
Yeah.
Again, Johan took the cake on that one with You Up. And then my just regular top 21 songs of 2021. I had Jungle's Keep Moving.
Yeah.
And then I also did an honorable mention, or honor roll, where I picked like another 20 songs that just missed each list.
Yeah.
There's a playlist on our Turntable Teachers Spotify page that is linked. We'll link that in the description. That you guys can go check out if you want to check out my list. And then, of course, the actual episodes themselves are on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. So if you want to hear about my favorite 2021 music, go check that out.
Yeah.
I'm not going to waste time on mine for right now, but I'm curious to hear what you had for like,
yeah,
maybe not if you have a list, that's great, or like,
yeah, I got
maybe
a
just your
couple
favorite
joints written
songs.
down. I got a couple things written down. Like we said, we kind of shaped this up to be like 2021/2022,
right?
And we were talking a little bit before we started recording, like it's been hard for me to like honestly, like I've been slacking on listening to music. It's been all podcasts for me in 2022, but I did have some things that I was looking forward to, including the Corday album, and you said it was fire. For me,
I love the Corday
a little
album.
bit underwhelming. I don't know if it was because like I just really loved the whole story and imagery in what is it, Thanksgiving? Is that the album he put out before?
The Corday album before this.
Or it's like Lost Boy?
That sounds right. Why can't I think of it now off the top of my head?
Something like that.
I'll get it.
Yeah, it was really good. I loved that album. So like I guess I had high hopes for the next one.
Lost Boy, that's what it was.
Boy. And I gotta give it another try. I went through it, like in all honesty, like maybe twice, and it just wasn't hooking in the same. And I don't know if it was because there was like an increase in features and like a couple big name features that were there. Like he has Wayne on that, Freddie, M. I don't know if that's what it was, or like I don't know. I guess it didn't feel like Lost Boy. Just felt like there was so much storytelling, and like it created a world that really let me know who he was. Where I guess from a bird's eye view, the new album from 2022 just didn't feel the same for me.
Interesting.
In the same way.
Yeah. I particularly like that album. I thought it was really well done. I think like in terms of his content, his like storytelling, I think it still's there. I mean, there's songs on there like Today that I think really do a nice job of, and like Gene Michael and like different songs there that really do a nice job of like actually doing the storytelling that I think he's been so great at in his career, his short career, albeit. But I really liked that project.
It was alright, and again, I'm gonna give it another try. Kind of just.
Chronicles was really good as well. That was another album I really like. Song, excuse me, I really liked on it with her. I think Her is on that track. With Lil Durk. That's a great song. Yeah. And then Super was a huge. I loved that song too. I thought he was like.
See, like,
so dope on that shit.
We're talking about it, and I don't even remember these songs.
It
just doesn't. It didn't feel memorable to me. I don't know. It didn't feel memorable to me. But like to move on real quick, another album from 2022 that I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but what is it called? The new Saba project came out.
That album's great.
Big Saba fan. I'm a big Saba fan. Few Good Things came out. And I saw everybody ranting and raving about it on Twitter before it came out, so I was totally looking forward to it. And I got through about probably halfway or 3/4 way, and I haven't finished it, actually. And for some reason, I don't know, I just haven't gone back. I don't know if it's like just out of like quarantine or these weird past couple years that we've had that like for some reason I am not resonating with music. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just weird now.
I don't think you're wrong in that, because I think I definitely. It's weird. Funny you said that, because I had a phase like that too. Like the first, I would say 6 months of 2021, I had a hard time, and really over the summer, and then I really in the fall and the winter got a little bit more into music again. But if you looked at like my streaming numbers of like on Spotify from like if you compared it from 2020 to 2021, like I think my minutes are like streamed or something like that is like way down from the year prior.
Yeah.
So definitely didn't listen to as much music as I did last year or the year before. Sorry.
Yeah. I'm hoping to, again, I'm going to go back and give these projects a listen. And the reason why I picked them even to speak about right now is because they're from artists that I like a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. And I'm glad that Saba dropped because I feel like it's been a minute. And the Care For Me project I thought was like tremendous.
Really good. It's funny you said that too because I liked the Saba album as well, but I see what you're saying with like the replayability of it. Like I wouldn't say that I've gone back to it a ton either. Like I really love the G Herbo track. I've definitely gone back to.
Yo, that G Herbo track that was hard.
That thing goes crazy.
That was hard. Yeah.
But you're right. Like a lot of it, I just haven't gone back to as much. I agree. There's like some issue with the replayability potentially.
Yeah. Well, I think he went like he went really like artsy with I feel like the style of it. Like there are just some like off kilter beats and like different kinds of flows he has and. It all sounds really cool, and there's a lot of like instruments involved, which is great. And that's something that I honestly would like. Like, there's some artists where I'm like, don't overthink it. I want you to kind of stick with what you like. But I think Saba does well in that pocket. I don't know. I haven't quite got it yet. You know what I mean? But I heard so many good reviews about it that I know it's there. And again, I am a fan of Saba, so I want him to win. But to move on from that real quick. From 2021, kind of like I was looking over albums and stuff that I listened to, and I think the ones that I have that were really stuck out from 2021 and I still go back to this day, 3 of them right off rip is Off Season, Call Me If You Get Lost, and Hotels by Jasmine Sullivan.
Well, we reviewed Hotels.
Yeah, we did.
So that if you guys want to hear the full review that we did on that, we did that on one of our remote. We'll link that in the description as well.
Yeah.
That review in particular, I think we have it clipped. Yeah. That was a great project.
Such a good project. And I'm like, as I was kind of like, getting notes ready and prepping for this, I was like, all right, I got to figure out what came out in that year. And I saw that it came out in January. I think it was January 8th.
Yeah, it was like one of the first albums of the year
of
last
2021.
year.
So I was like, okay, this is something I can actually add for last year.
Great.
It almost feels 2 years old, though. Yeah. I guess no, it's not 2 years old yet.
A little over a year.
Yeah, a little over a year.
In a day and age where I think R&B is a little bit... like here and like there's not as much of it and quality of it, or at least maybe not in like the forefront. I'm glad that an album like that got so much recognition because it really is I think an album that if you slept on it, definitely go check it out.
Definitely
it's really freaking good. I mean, Anderson .Paak's on that thing. Ari Lennox, Ari
Lennox kills it.
Yeah, it's just such a good project, and I think that
it was a good return for Jasmine Sullivan.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? Because she was making R&B music that was really popular in like mid 2000s.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Yep. And then kind of she took a hiatus for a second. And I think she had released a little bit of music before Hotels, but like I don't think it quite clicked with people.
Yeah.
And then she came out with this EP or album.
Yeah.
And it was just so good. It's like a master class of like R&B vocals.
It really was.
And soul vocals.
Absolutely insane. Yeah. I loved it. I really did. Off Season.
Yeah.
An album we didn't get a chance to talk about.
I guess we didn't.
We didn't talk about it. I really thought that was a good return for J. Cole.
Yeah.
Like, if that's how it ends for him, I'm happy for him.
Well, he's supposed to be following it up with the Fall Off.
Is that the last one?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. It's kind of supposed to complete the Friday Night Lights, Sideline Story, Off Season, Fall Off. I think those are supposed to all kind of be in like a series, like a stringed along kind of thing.
Like a trilogy somewhat.
Yeah.
Or even more. Like I think that would be 4 albums.
Right.
Yeah. Hunger on Hillside was my number 2 song in my list. Not to spoil my whole list, but yeah, that was my number 2 song.
Hunger on Hillside's so good.
Oh my god, just the angelic sort of heavenly ending that it is with Boss's sort of like distorted vocals at the end, and just the way it's just, and then the refrain. Can't be afraid of sunlight. Spotlights when it grows. All the pain you hold makes you worth your weight in gold. Like, just I love that.
Spitting.
Yo, that line stuck out with me this year, man. Like, it's such a good. I think very similar to what we were talking about before with like Eminem a little bit with Lose Yourself. It's a song where it like, how should I put this? It's just so inspirational or inspiring to listen to, because it actually makes you feel like, oh, okay, like all this pain I'm going through, like it's gonna be worth it in the end. There is this like and again, we all probably on some level felt some sort of pain this year, like this last 2 years, really, with this pandemic. So I think it was just relatable in that sense of like, feeling like, okay, I'm in this low place. Like there's like value in going through a hard time.
Yeah.
Right. It's just, not to make a sports analogy, but like the old saying of like you learn more when you lose than you do when you win. Like
Definitely.
there's that sort of aspect to it. So I loved that part of that song, and just, I mean, the whole album though really does a phenomenal. It's really phenomenal. Like I thought the 21 Savage song, what was it, My Life, I think that song's called. Yeah. That's a really good track on there.
So many of those songs I love, and I feel like it's like, I don't know, I feel like it's just J. Cole's pocket. Like, you know what I mean? And I love to see, like, him kind of go back into that pocket, but, like, with his refined skill set that he has now in 2021. And I've heard people talk shit about it, you know, saying that they didn't go back to it, or it wasn't as memorable as it should have been. I've seen people say that, but I honestly think, like, even if I didn't go back to it, I honestly do go back to it, but even if I'm not going back to it super often in 2022, when you do go back to it, it ages and it plays, like, the replayability of it holds up.
I agree.
You know what I mean? And I think that's really one of the good things about a lot of these artists who, like, you know, kind of the big artists like Kendrick, K. Drake, is that even with Certified Lover Boy, that actually has aged a little bit better than I thought it would. Because I don't like that. I wasn't really hype about it when it came out, but I've gone back to it and I'm like, okay, you know what? He was doing something here, even if it didn't live up to the hype. And kind of what I'm saying, the same thing with Off Season, even if it didn't live up to the hype for certain people, it'll still be able to age as good music. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely think it ages better than like KOD in my opinion. I thought it was better than KOD. For sure. For me personally, I know people could disagree on that, but I definitely liked it better. The off season is phenomenal, and I think Cole coming back to form in the way that he has was really remarkable in a lot of ways. And then you had "Call Me If You Get Lost" by Tyler, Creator.
"Call Me If You Get Lost." That's actually something that I also I still go back to. I don't go back to super often, but like it still gets spins for me, and it's just such a good project. That was also super hip hop, like, you know what I mean. So
it's cool that he got DJ Drama on that. Yeah, I thought that was really out of left field.
Dope. It is definitely, especially following the other projects he had where he went kind of like the opposite direction and kind of got like super abstract and artsy with it. And Igor and Flower Boy, right?
One of my favorites.
And then he kind of came back around to just being super gritty rap, hip hop shit, and it was super good. And then I have like a runner up, and I'll let you speak because we've talked about my music already for a while. Okay. But what I have as a runner up is like that Don Toliver project.
I didn't listen to it that much. Was it good?
Yo, it was surprisingly good, and it was actually one of those Don Toliver Life of a Don. It was one. I was not like a huge Don Toliver fan before that. He was always kind of sick on features. Like he always came through on a feature, and I thought it was always good on like a hook for something. But I didn't really dive into his work. And then I listened to Life of a Don, and I don't know if he like kind of benefited from the fact that I had no expectations, but I think it was his debut album. And I don't know, I just remember that year kind of like playing it back quite a lot. Like Drugs and Hella Melodies with Kali Uchis was fire. I really liked the first two tracks, Escape, 5X. Those are hard. The Baby Keem track was dope. And it was a cool kind of psychedelic, you know, kind of in that Travis Scott realm. When I say psychedelic, you know, kind of in that like more trippy, moody, like dark trap kind of stuff. Okay. You know what I mean? It was pretty dope.
Cool.
Pretty dope.
I'll have to check it out. That was one I definitely missed.
Yeah.
For sure. Not to make this too long-winded either, but yeah, the Tyler Creator project in particular, I thought that, I agree with you. We kind of went back to like that like grounding moment of like hip hop, or that like sort of aspect of hip hop. But I think as well, he still was able to bring in some of the Igor and Flower Boy influences that he was still using. So I think it was kind of a perfect like mesh of that. I will say though, it doesn't get as much replayability for me as Igor and Flower Boy still do. Weirdly enough, and I'm not sure why.
Yeah, well,
I can't put my finger on why I don't why I wasn't like amazed by it. I really liked it, but I
Yeah.
wasn't like floored by it in the way that I was Igor and
I actually
Flower Boy.
wasn't a big fan of Igor. As much as everybody loves Igor, I gave it a shot, and I like
Wasn't for you.
Yeah, it wasn't for me. Like I like abstract stuff, but it just wasn't for me that much. So like when he did Call Me If You Get Lost, it was a good return. It's like, all right, this is kind of what I fuck with. This is like more my lane. So
Cool. Two albums that I want to bring up. One that just came out yesterday, back on the J. Cole thing, is Earth Gang's new album, Ghetto Gods.
I haven't heard it yet, but
Bro.
yeah.
I mean, I don't want to spoil it too much for people. Like, definitely go check that thing out if you haven't yet. It is so damn good. What I love about Earth Gang right now, and I think it's, to be honest, I think when we're going to look back on this album, it's going to be better than their debut, than their first album that came out. Not the Spillagen one that they did with Jid,
Right.
but the Mirrorland one. And the reason why I think this album is so good is not only the melodies that they play with and the instrumentation, which and some of the samples that they use, which is just all beautiful, but their lyricism on this and the topics that they're playing with and what they're talking about is so just, I think, impactful and important right now. There's a lot of like, social issues and, race issues and things that are like just kind of in the now. It's really getting to the root, I think, of like, the issues that we have in our world today. It's very relevant in a way that I think is not like in any way like sort of talking down to you or like it's not distasteful anyway. It's very, I think, thought-provoking and authentic, and that's what I love about this album so much. And there's actually a really interesting song on the backside of this too called Strong Friends, and the whole thing, it's just like Johnny Venus, like the chorus essentially like, make sure you check on your strong friends, like, like I thought I just like something so simple as that, where it's like, check on the people that you like that always seem like
to check on.
Exactly, that always have it together. And so I love the mental health piece of it as well.
How are you, Mike?
I'm great.
Yeah, you're one of my friends. I feel like always has it together.
Not as much, but that's the point. Like, I loved that sentiment of like, oh, check on your strong friends because they might have something they're going through that they're not just like talking about openly as like some other people. So I thought like there were just so many songs on here that the song is particularly called "Lie to Me" as well, which is so freaking good, and the sample they use is really, really dope. "All Eyes on Me" is another one with a really cool sample on it, like a vocal sample that's really like catchy. But yeah, just and the other song that I think is really awesome as it pertains to like social issues would be "American Horror Story." They really talk a lot, like get in the nitty gritty and talk a lot about like the history of like racism and civil rights movement and just like the aspect of like sort of like this culture of people like sort of taking from Black and African American culture and sort of just the idea of like how we're like looking at that now, cultural appropriation, excuse me.
Right.
So that was the phrase I was looking for. So anyway, I think that they just do such a phenomenal job of it, and they really are, for me, like the new age Outkast. I think that's maybe why I like them so much. Like even the very opening song has inflections of like Andre 3000. I'm not sure if it's which one that it is, or whether it's Johnny Venus. So that's an album anyway that people should go check out. I think you would really like.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check it out for sure.
Yeah.
Johnny Venus can literally just do anything.
And shout out Latrell James, who is a Boston artist. He got some production credit, particularly on Lie to Me, which is one of my favorite songs on here.
That's
yeah,
sick.
yeah. And I'm not just saying, like, I genuinely liked Lie to Me, one of my favorite songs. And then I was looking about the producers. Latrell James literally is the lone producer on that track.
Oh wow,
It's one of my favorites.
that's dope.
So he I believe went to the Dreamville sessions for Revenge of the Dreamers
dope.
3. So he's on there.
Damn, Latrell, come through.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Latrell did it, bro. He really did. So I love that project, and it just came out, so I think it's only going to get better with each spin. And then the other one that this guy put me on to, and he doesn't have to talk about it too much if he doesn't want to, but Oliver Tree. You ever heard of him?
Oliver Tree. That's the it goes on and on and
That's
on and
him.
on and on. Yeah.
Bro, his new album Cowboy Tears is awesome.
Okay.
It's so friggin' good, bro. It's like, I love this sort of mesh he's done with like country indie alternative with like a little bit of like a hip hop sort of like production wise, sort of like a hip hop sort of like taste on it or like
Yeah.
a little flavor to it.
Yeah.
I think what he's doing is so unique and so uniquely like him.
Yeah. Not before you get too far away, we're talking about like him kind of integrating hip hop into it. This isn't about him specifically, but like I think that's where like hip hop is like the most pervasive. Is like even if people aren't rapping necessarily, which it feels like anybody kind of adds like a little rap verse nowadays. It's like just the drum patterns and like and hi hats that hip hop's made so popular. It's like everybody kind of like brings that into the fold at some point because it's completely changed the landscape of like how we listen to fast paced or even slower songs. It's just like those drums, I feel like.
Yes, and I think what's really cool is there's a particular song called "Get Well Soon" where he does this really interesting like drum sort of like DJ almost scratch like breakdown off the chorus. If you want to actually get up and just put on just the chorus of that song, I think what he's doing is so unique to everything else that's out right now, and his image too, like the way he sort of like
his image
markets
is super
himself.
unique.
It's really cool. It's
Super
quirky.
unique.
His music is like on all the promotional like videos that he does for his music is very like out there and like abstract in a way that's almost like he's almost
he kind
He's
of
a
like,
troll.
He's a bit of a troll.
Like, he's like if an internet troll or like somebody who was Twitter famous made music, I think they'd at least present themselves like Oliver Tree. And then I was like very pleasantly surprised when I went into a little bit of his music that he's actually pretty good.
He's great. I really genuinely
I think
like
you
him.
would like his first album better.
Yeah, I'll probably have to listen
This
to
one might be a little bit different.
Gotcha.
Yeah. This song though I think
But,
is
Okay, definitely a little folky here. Just for the people who are listening, maybe not watching, he has what looks like not an RV. What's the word I'm looking for?
Monster truck.
Like okay. Oh, this is nice. He has like a quad that looks like it's some kind of like ox or bull. And I guess that makes sense. Is this the cover art? Yeah, Cowboy Tears. He's in this blue cowboy suit. Or the cowboy
really cool.
jacket is still like a windbreaker, and I feel like that's his signature look, is like having that windbreaker.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I spoke over the chorus. I did hear those drums though, and those instruments.
It was really cool, yeah. Some people want to obviously like listen to that song and like get the full effect of it. Yeah, but anyway, that's just like a really great album. Like he definitely put me onto it a lot more than like I probably would have otherwise. I know Sam's a big fan of him, but like
Seen him live.
Yeah, that's
Seen
right.
him
Oh yeah, you're
live?
seeing him live soon. He's coming to Boston Calling as well, which I'm trying to go to.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Nice. I saw Chance perform at Boston Calling once.
I saw
and it was
Eminem a few years
absolutely
ago.
Sick. Oh, that's
yeah,
dope.
and it was oh my god, it was like a sea of people. It was
Yeah.
insane. And then we saw Jack White, either the year before that or maybe the same year.
I think it was the day before.
Oh, it was the day before. That's right. So it was Jack White, and he's the leader of the White Stripes.
Oh,
and
okay.
that was we were like 7th or 8th row of people. I don't know how we got that far up, but like it was one of the most insane live performances I've seen in like maybe ever, like a long time. It was
That's
phenomenal.
awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah. So Oliver Tree, definitely guys check that out. Cowboy Tears, and yeah, I definitely wanted to get to the last segment here before we head out today. Maybe next time we'll talk about some local stuff. We didn't get a chance today to talk too much about some local cats, but you know, that's what the Night School new music series is for. So I'm sure I'll get to talk about some of those.
Podcasts.
And there's more. We're gonna have plenty.